pilot.
Good afternoon / early evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Grand Finals. That's right, a Grand Finals in competitive Left 4 Dead 2 of the MavWar Hype 2015 Pro Mod Tournament. We are playing this match on Swamp Fever. The winner of this game gets the $400 cash prize, as a matter of fact. And the game today is between Teams NCI and Team Fat Kids, right here on XBuy Stream. Co-casting with me for this wonderful Grand Finals match, I will keep reiterating until we realize exactly what a miracle that is happening, is the one only Mr. ProdigySim. How are you doing this day, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to see this match finally begin.
Indeed, and I believe the only thing we were doing is we were attempting to select the proper server for this game. A couple of locations had to be tried due to the fact one of the players on one of the teams is having a little bit of ping difficulty, but unfortunately it seems as though no matter what server we try, it still stays that way, so I believe we are going to be staying where we are right now. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and yeah, PSM, $400 on the line, and we are on Swamp Fever.
Yeah, that MavWar Tournament Finals, $400. The winner of this walks away with, I guess that's $100 per player if they've only got 4 on their roster, so that's a pretty big win for a Left 4 Dead tournament, so this should be there's a lot on the line with this match, and so I'm hoping to see some exciting play.
Indeed, and it looks as though they have decided to go ahead despite the ping for Princess on the Fat Kid, so we are going to do a very quick rundown, then this game is going to be going live straight away. So, on the survivors, we have Team NCI, that is Go Smoke More, Mercy Kill, Striking Serenity, and Bear, and who do we have for the Fat Kids?
The Fat Kids, we got Spooky Scary Princesses, LB Trice, Box, and Emo Panda Girl, with very difficult to read names, I must assure you, but yeah, that's our lineup here, and it looks like we're just waiting on a ready up or two to get things going.
Indeed, and Swamp Fever, we have seen it played recently. It's been in the competitive community for quite a long time. One of the more diverse maps that forces the teams to both play extremely coordinated, I would say. And honestly, I think whatever team right here who is able to actually stay together and play more of a confident survivor is going to be the winner in this game. I believe it was just mentioned that these teams did meet in the non-elimination stages of the tournament, and that's what I'm going to call it, because it's not exactly a group stage, but I guess we can just call it the original games. There were 16 games in the tournament total, starting out with 8 teams. These 2 teams are here at the very end of the road, and I think it was mentioned that NCI won that game, but this is going to be a much different scenario because Swamp Fever is a quite complex map.
Yeah, it definitely is. Probably one of the more complex ones out of the default maps. And it looks like we are going live right now, just got that final ready up, and so NCI is starting out their Survivor round right here.
Indeed they are, and this first hit's going to be a Spitter, Hunter, Smoker, and a Boomer for the Fat Kid, spawning up right now and going in. Boomer is going to get immediately popped. We are going to have that Hunter getting dead stopped as well after this got cleared, and that's a nice way for NCI to start right there. PSM taking very minimal damage.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage off of that Smoker, and the Survivors are on their way through the map. Pretty good opening.
Yeah, the tank's going to be at 73%, Witch at 55, and I don't know, but do you think that the key here is to pretty much do well on map 1 because it is such an endurance map with a high score potential?
Yeah, I think map 1 has generally been one of the higher scoring maps in this, just because you have potential to make safe room with a pretty high health bonus if you take the tank well. Of course, bad things can happen on the event and other things. We have a pull coming in to the side, getting Nick. Nice pounce intercept with the boom on top of that, only landing 1. And nice cap with the jockey as well, getting some good chip damage in right now. Wow, little time taken on that clear.
Yeah, and with that chip damage, that is exactly what you want to do in this situation as a special infected team, because I think in the entire competitive Left 4 Dead echelon of the regular maps, not counting custom campaigns, obviously, this map is one of the longest and one of the toughest to deal with from a survivor side if you keep taking damage like that. There's going to be a lot of bleed. Obviously, they start with 4 pills and they can find more, but at the same point in time, the less damage you can take with this event and tank, the better. Next hit is going to be a Boomer, Hunter, Spitter, and a Jockey, so another 2-2 hit here, and it looks as though the survivors are content just to wait a second PSM before they push forward to get that event.
Yeah, probably a good idea. They don't know what spawns are up, and here comes the 2-cap going both for Nick. Spit actually misses pretty heavily, but they get a little bit more scratch damage onto Nick.
Indeed, and I think that Nick actually is just above the slow mark. He's at 43 HP, so he is going to have to commit those pills at some point soon, but I think the survivors are actually going to choose to take it in this side room over here instead of going all the way back to the safe room. I don't know about that piece. I usually like the safe room because it's so open.
I personally kind of like it here. I find that those hits along the pathway back to the safe room can be pretty deadly. And here you mostly just have to look out for the spitter, you know, try to skeet a charger as he flies through the door. But it can be up to the team. Pull going in right there to the front. Jockey gonna land the next cap, and Charger goes in but stumbles on the wall. Gonna get a couple of punches, 2 punches in on the backside there. So taking about 20 damage off of that.
And that Jockey almost also made a huge play. Actually had Rochelle kind of out the door there, but then the Boomer proxied the Jockey off the top of Rochelle's face. That would have been absolutely horrendous for the survivors had that Jockey been able to get outside with a multi-boom, because that could have resulted potentially in an in-cap near that depth charge area. But as you said, the way to play this room is to shut down the SI before that spit can get over everything, which it does. It's going to be a Hunter, Spitter, Charger, Smoker for this hit here. Survivors positioning themselves with the Uzis in the front. We have a pull trying to go in. Charger going in. Managing to land onto Nick with a spit on top of that. And this is the danger of this room. The spit is going to spread to all the survivors almost. And that's going to be a ton of damage going out in that hit, ProdigySim.
Wow, yeah, huge damage. That Charger landing in the middle of everything just made mobility so hard for them. And the survivors have chosen to commit their pills even though the boat is almost here. And they'll just be waiting out the long boat ride. But looks like they'll make it with, you know, about a third of their health taken away on most of these survivors.
Yeah, and they do have those 2 pills left, as we did mention, but that also means that there are 2 survivors bleeding out, and they are just going to wait as they cross across this entire lagoon here to the other side. It's going to be a pretty good hit for the SI on the other side here. Smoker, Charger, Boomer, Jockey, but with the health the way it is, ProdigySim, do you think they're going to have to play aggressive on this tank? Because I think they are.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. This is not a tank where you want to sit around and keep bleeding, because there's tons of ways you can keep LOS without taking lots of chip. So we'll have to see how the survivors deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is if they take any more damage at this hit here, then they're almost going to be out of pills, so it's really going to depend on what they do. Looks as though they're going to be slow playing it a little bit before the rest of the hit comes in. Jockey going in, getting M2'd immediately, and then shut down. Smoker trying to get a separation pull as well, going to also get shut down. Charger going in for a free charge. Again, Uzi to the face. Single boom, double boom going out, but that's going to be all she wrote for that hit.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good shutdown of that hit. SI came in a little bit staggered there. And, you know, honestly, they do have the Witch to take care of next. If they manage to find her, they could actually try to skip her. But, you know, I kind of almost wonder about trying to do, like, a really hard push and maybe even running past the tank in this sort of a situation where, you know, if the tank decides to go for bleed, it can just really start to hurt down on your team. That being said, next hit is coming in. Pull off to the back, getting a nice drop onto Rochelle. Jockey in the front. Gonna take Coach off as well. Just more and more chip damage coming in here. That's 3 survivors below 40 permanent health.
Before that hit, they did have 3 sets of pills because I think they found an extra set, but now it seems as though Striking Serenity has committed one of those sets. Mercy Kill is almost slow, so if they are going to choose to play this the way that they want to, I guess, which is going to be... Actually, we're going to have a survivor going for the Witch, getting a nice crown right there. I was going to say, if the way they want to play it is trying to LOS in this situation, they really cannot afford that much of a bleed-out tank here. Tank is up in the hands of Box for the Fat Kids. We have a hit coming in. Smoker trying to get a pull, missing. Rock going and getting skeeted. Charger and a Hunter for the other 2 pinners here, already bouncing around. Survivors, though, are going to be holding S, going to the backfield there. Separation pull on Rochelle. That's going to be huge if this Charger lands. We're going to see a nice double cap, and that actually might be a full in cap. Indeed, it's going to be it, but the tank is now alone. Charger going in, almost landing on a Coach. Great separation play right there from the Special Infected. Tank is going to choose to actually back off. They could get a kill maybe on Rochelle here. This is a precarious situation, ProdigySim.
Yeah, it certainly is. That Charger is heading back in with a very small amount of health, though. They have shut down the SI attack, and now they've got some room to either move forward or get into the positions they want with most of these SI down. However, Boomer is coming up, and if he lands a nice boom here, this could spell the end for the survivors. Let's see, Boomer pre-spawns pretty far away, looking for the pick. Nice pop by Striking Serenity.
The tank is also really out of position in terms of cutting the survivors off if they wanted to go forward here. They might decide to play it that aggressively, and I think that's what they're going to do. They know the tank's in a pretty precarious spot behind them now. If they turn on the tank right here, that would be a lot of damage. Indeed, they're going to do exactly that. They are now going to be fighting this tank on these docks. They just can't get someone from behind. So all 4 of them are right next to each other, jumping over the table. SI support coming in from the back. Tank whiffing a punch. Hunter getting cleared. Jockey also getting cleared. This is exactly what they wanted. The tank is going to be able to catch Coach right there and put him in the ceiling, but the tank is also down to 239 HP. Great call and great mobility from that survivor team on a tank they probably should have wiped that ProdigySim.
Yeah, definitely so. Great play from the survivor team, NCI there. They managed to take that timing. The SI were forced to go in with really staggered spawns, and they weren't able to get much out of that commit. And they've still got NCI Bear holding a fair amount of health on LS. giving him a 220 health bonus. 2 boom coming in though. Here comes the next hit. Pull off on the front, non-boom survivor. Getting cleared, but the jockey's coming in. M2 down, and Nick goes down in the middle of it all. Hunter gonna look to make this a bigger cap. Wow, Ellis with the M2. I think that was accidental.
Yeah, that would have been all of his bonus, I think, had that Hunter landed, because the rest of the SI were already either pinning someone or they had already gotten the common to collapse on the survivors there. The survivors were not in a good position to clear much of anything else, but that M2 from behind the back right there did work on that Hunter, and as a matter of fact, they still have a little bit of bonus as they make their way towards the safe from here. As we mentioned, this is a very, very high score potential map. We have a spit going in delay, Charger coming in from the back, Jockey bouncing around on the side, Charger missing his charge onto Ellis, Boomer spawning up as well, and that is almost a complete shutdown except for that one common getting the in-cap on the coach.
Ouch. But yeah, it looks like they're probably going to make safe room off of this if they can coordinate to get this pickup to happen. There are a lot of commons coming in right now, but they're putting Ellis in the safe room to hold on to that health bonus. It looks like they'll be making it in with a 150 health bonus.
Yeah, and I would say that's a great job by NCI to take that tank the way they did with the health that they had, honestly, and that is going to be a good start. 49, I mean, hey, he got double MVP, so he did what he needed to do in order to get the double MVP by shooting his team for the equivalent of 2 tank punches. But I mean, besides that, it is how it goes, and we have a 776 score there because of that 100-point holdout bonus plus witch bonus, and now this is going to be interesting, PSM, because this is where the fat kids are on Survivor with a Survivor who has 330 ping on tab.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is going to be quite a challenge. I think the name of the game is going to be clear commons off of Ellis for the entire round.
That's true. If I had to pick a
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, maybe they can find some way to deal with it. You never know when the M2 is going to come against a 300 ping player.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that is that they're going to have to use him almost strategically in that sense, because when you're playing with 300 latency, I personally don't have as much experience playing on ping as others in this community do, but the common knowledge is that when it starts getting to those 300 levels is when it starts becoming extremely, like, on the verge of unplayable in that sense. And I mean, it really depends as to whether or not it's consistent as well. Like, if he's running a consistent 300, then at least it's not going to be jittery, but it's still 300 latency to a server here, and again, that was the reason why we tried moving multiple servers to see exactly if it was the server or the player, and he's going to have to deal with it. We are going live right here, so the fat kids are going to be on the Survivor right now, trying to match NCI's performance. First hit coming in, nice pop going out onto that Boomer. Smoker is also going to get cleared right away. Hunter's going for the Survivor in the safe room, and that was a 300 ping dead stop right there, PSM.
Nice work by Scary Princesses there. So yeah, 3 points coming out on this. That's actually slightly better than we saw in the first round, although it looks like there was some friendly fire in the way as well. But Survivor's making a bit slower of a move because of that spit delay. But we'll be seeing the second hit in about the same spot, I think. Spawns are coming up now. It looks like we've got a 2-2 with Jockey Smoker.
Indeed we do, and it looks as though the Survivors are going to look to push their way out of these trees. These trees can be extremely deadly for SI due to the fact that they have all those spawns. A nice pop going out. We do see an M2 going out into that Jockey as well. Quick clear, and that's another shutdown coming out so far, and this is how to play Spawn Fever in that sense. You know the SI are going to be spawning from the trees. You have to stay alert and pop those Boomers, because Boomers on this map are absolutely deadly, with the Mudmen also thrown into the mix.
Yeah, I have to say, the SI kind of had a weird sort of attack there. The Boomer came from the front, pretty far away from the Survivors. All the SI really just came from one side, and as a result, pretty much shut down, only another 3 damage on the board. But they do have a good setup for this next hit. It looks like a 3-1 with Spitter, and they've got that Charger as well, so we could see a death charge attempt here. Looks like Survivors may have baited the button just now. I saw them sort of all running back at once.
That's what I thought happened too. Like, I thought they hit it, but now it looks as though they're just going to take the hit. Coach is really separated right here, but that Hunter is going to Charlie Brown the Smoker. That is still a pin going out onto Coach in the spit. That's going to be a lot of damage, if not a death. Charger goes for the intercept, not going to land, so not a death, but a good hit going on Trice there. And obviously it wasn't the death that I just said, but that still got over half of his health gone and a set of pills committed for the duration of this event.
I have to say that was good play from both teams sort of handling that, other than the pounce landing. I mean, the Survivors chose not to clear the pounce, so we couldn't get death charged, and the SI just sat there and wait and let that pounce go out for even more damage without rushing into anything. So I really like that interaction right there. But yeah, a big win for the SI off of that hit.
Looks as though they have a 2-2 here with some pretty good inside damage potential. It's going to be a Hunter, Spitter, Boomer, and a Jockey. Jockey going and getting M2. Hunter is going to land with a stick going down on top of that. Indeed it is. That's going to force Nick to move forward. As that jockey also lands onto Coach, Coach is going to get ridden into that spit for even more damage. But besides that at this point, again, I'd say it's similar damage that we saw go out on the last half round, except the fact that all of this damage really is on one person, so they can use them as the quote-unquote damage sponge.
Yeah, I have to agree. This does look a little bit better for Team Fat Kids. With that single bleeder, they can just pump pills into him, have him bait out the attacks for them. But so far, these attacks are looking pretty well coordinated and strong. Here comes the next hit. Pull coming out, charge going in, getting more punches onto LB Trice. And a nice pounce getting some good damage onto Panda Girl. So once again, solid damage from these hits, although the majority of it went onto Coach once more.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think Coach is going to make the smart play probably and not decide to take his pills yet if he can avoid going down, because that entire boat ride is going to bleed him out. And I think now it's about the same damage that we saw go out, unless something weird happens here with like some odd death charge at the last second. But I don't believe they're in position to do that as long as Nick gets on the boat, and indeed he's going to, so that's going to mitigate the chance of that death on this side of the lagoon. But when we move to the other side, we will see if the infected can pull that off. And honestly, in order for them to survive this tank piece, what do you think they should do?
You know, I think they do have the option to sort of just play it passively still, as long as they keep from committing pills too early on the remainder of these survivors. But I'm kind of imagining we'll see similar play where they shut down the SI spawns and maybe look to push the tank a little, just because that positioning ends up being so strong.
Right, and I mean, depending on what the SI hit does here, they could still be in position where they find even another set of pills to give them to keep them fast on the two survivors who are bleeding out. Boomer wants to get a spawn to the right, Charger and Jockey in the back area over there, I guess. So the Jockey's going to be going in, trying to land on Rochelle. That Jockey lands me a lot of sap. Charger's going in as well, but Rochelle does juke the Charger right there. A good shutdown, but some risky play that did pay off from Rochelle.
Yeah, I'd say nice moves from Fatbox over there. Definitely
able to
juking that Charger around pretty well. I have to say, I'm noticing the positioning. They've been putting Ellis to the back of their survivor positions during most of these hits, just leaving him to be in a, you know, sort of DPS clearer position, not really exposing him to any of the close range interactions that the survivors have to deal with. Probably a good choice given his ping.
Yeah, it seems as though like almost nothing has landed on him so far. He's still sitting at around 96 HP. This hit is going to be coming in right now, it looks like. Smoker trying to get a pull is going to miss. Jockey going in there, getting M2'd. Hunter going to actually almost land on Rochelle, who does get pulled because she is separated. And there we go, that's a nice double cap landing. An okay amount of damage going on the box there, but they did get the clear before a terrific amount of damage was inflicted. But that is also going to knock Sense almost slow again. So the survivors need to be careful now about how they play this tank. Speaking of that, tank is up now for Team NCI into the hands of Mercy Kill.
Yeah, and another thing to note is the witch has not been killed. They chose to avoid her, so they might have to be a little careful with their positioning if they ever rotate over in that direction.
I think they're going to try to take it into the open area back here, but I don't know exactly how viable of a strat that is with the way their health is. That Charger almost landing on the box. We do have a rock going in right here, managing to hitbox the 300 ping Ellis as that smoke goes out with a double boom, and that's the kind of... Oh, wow, Rochelle also got hit by that rock. I was going to say, that's exactly what the survivors don't want in that situation, because now they've eaten 2 rocks, and they are going to keep bleeding.
Yeah, definitely so. I'd say, given this position, you know, give it a try for one more hit, and if they don't make it through one more hit, you know, without taking significant damage, it's going to be time to push. So we'll have to see. Hunter is pre-spawned up in the front. They have Charger and Ghost, as well as a Boomer once again. If they manage to pop this Boomer, it should be a pretty easy hit to deal with. Pounce goes in, cleared very quickly. Charger creeping up with that Boomer from so far away. Boomer does get popped, and the charge lands onto Nick, although it does get cleared very quickly. Now survivors are choosing to push the tank. Probably good position. The tank is on low ground.
Oh,
they can actually get close to a nice surround onto him, getting almost 2k damage already.
Oh, just keep pushing him. They gotta keep pushing him right here with the way their health is. That's gonna be a propane exploding in the back. This tank is down to about 2,700 HP. Tank actually gets a punch onto Coach back there in the room, almost cornering box here, and indeed does succeed in doing that due to the water. We have a pull going out, Smoker getting killed, Tank throwing a rock, managing to in-cap box there, who was bonus, but these survivors who are fast and need to go full out on that tank. They know the tank is low. They need to get the kill on the tank, and then they need to pick box up and wake their way. But the survivors are playing it a little bit passively here, I think. Actually, no, here comes Ellis. They need to push it.
Yeah, they're getting this around right now. This tank should go down within a couple Uzi clips. Looking for the bats. Oh my gosh, nice jukes by Nick. and they do
There
get the
you go.
kill right there. SI coming in with a single boom, and Charge actually landing onto Fatbox once again. So survivors are going to make it out of this tank fight, although Coach is going to be black and white.
Apparently,
and Fatbox
Dragon
not in good shape either.
Dragon found something humorous from the fact that the survivors had to jump from the spit, but besides that, they are going to be able to keep pushing forward here, as you mentioned. Oh, yeah, he did take the down because he spit blocked it, but it looks as though that's going to leave Trace black and white. Box only is 1 down right here, but all of the bonuses on the player with the most ping. And there is also a witch over here that you mentioned before, Sim, with how this hit is up now as well. And this could be very, very devastating. Boomer going in, actually missing the arc boom, getting popped by Sense. Rest of the hit seems to be coming in right now. Charger jumping down and missing. Pull going out for a couple seconds, does get cleared. I don't know. Would you go for the witch in this situation? Because I wouldn't.
Probably not. Maybe draw crown it if you really want the points, but I think getting 20 more points of distance with these current survivor speeds is probably a bit more important. Yeah, the floor is lava. I have to agree with our cameraman there.
Yeah, I would say they have the bonus right here as they stand to actually get a lead off this map 1 if they were to make it, but instead they're going to have to be dealing with the rest of this hit. One survivor is black and white, mind you. It's a jockey, smoker, charger, spitter. Charger climbing up to the side over here, and they actually put the jockey on the roof with the charger on the side. Survivors are bleeding out right now. Smoker's going to go for the pull forward, managing to land it as a matter of fact, but then it does get cleared. Charger and jockey both coming from the back with a spit going down as well. Spit's going to get in cap. That's going to be a death on the coach as well. This actually could turn into a wipe just like that, due to the fact that survivors have all of their bonus concentrated on one person, and the rest of the hits were going down onto the survivors to make them either black and white or killed here, ProdigySim.
Yeah, definitely so. This does not look like a safer making team right now. Pull goes in. Jockey looking for the next cap. Manages to land onto Ellis. That's going to be a death onto Fatbox as well. And that Jockey getting tons of ticks onto Ellis. So now it's just down to 2 survivors holding about 80 health bonus between them.
Yeah, and all of the bonus, as we said, is really on the player who is in the least position right now to protect himself due to the ping. He's done a pretty good job so far with that, but now he's going to get hoarded, and horde plus ping equals unhappiness for whoever that player is. This actually might be a wipe in the next couple of seconds, depending on what the SI gets. It's going to be a hunter, a smoker, and a spitter, so they have a 2 cap here. Spitter's trying to spawn behind, smoker from the right-hand side. Imagine get the pull, and that's a 2 cap.
Nice work by Team Fat Kids there. Pulling out the wipe on map 1, going to leave about a 250-point deficit for Team Fatboxes here.
Yeah, I mean, it's still extremely close, but we didn't see... The important part for that was that there was not a wipe at the tank for the Fat Kids, and they were able to push their way at least almost to the safe room. Like, they didn't get in the safe room, but they got close enough to get the distance points, because that score delta is manageable going into the map 2 and map 3. But if it had been like a 400-point or 500-point, that would have been the case where it's demotivational to the team who's behind. But this, they can definitely make up that. They can definitely make this up in the next couple chapters.
Definitely so. You know, I gotta say, I liked Fatbox's survivor play during the tank a little bit more. I kind of liked where they took it to do the LOSing, and I liked their push. I kind of disagree with you about when the tank was down to like 1k and went into that house. I feel like the survivors should have backed off at that point and just taken the next SI hit. But they pushed on and ended up getting a few more in caps because of it, I'd say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they leave the tank alive in that situation, I guess then they're guaranteeing 3 SI until it goes AI, but I don't know. I felt like they were close enough to where they could actually just get it out of the way. Then again, this is coming from the person whose team on Swamp Fever Map 2 in the last tournament match I played got ourselves wiped because we tried to do that to an AI tank, so I'm probably not in the right place to speak.
Yeah, it's just like, not only is it 3 SI, they were also pushing onto a location that had a ton of SI spawns right when the hit was coming up. And you know, if everybody's unloading their clips into the tank, that doesn't leave a lot to kill off SI with. But map 2 is now starting, and it's a reset for both teams, basically. And NCI going to bring it out on Survivor here first.
Indeed they are. They're going to be defending their 260-point lead. It's going to be a spitter, a smoker, a boomer, and a hunter for the first SI hit from the Fat Kids here. Our tank's going to be at 53%, which is right around the event area, and the witch is very late. Survivor's pushing their way out of the safe room right now. Smoker's going to get a pull onto Rochelle. Nice double cap landing, as a matter of fact, with a double boom going down on top of that. And the boomer might be able to stumble Coach, but instead, Coach jumps on the rock there. It does get a proxy onto Nick and a Coach.
And that proxy, I think, ended up getting them a couple more spit ticks onto Coach as well. Very nice opening hit from Fat Kids. Definitely showing that they're warmed up now and are ready right out of the gate.
Yeah, those areas there where it's very, like, it's open in some spots then closed in the other, and that's basically this entire chapter right here. The Boomer in that situation was able to get that proxy plus the initial boom. Nice pull in the back as well, capitalizing on that separation, but the rest of the SI are not yet in. We do have a pounce going in the front with a spit going down on top of that as well, so some nice chip damage here. Jockey's going to hold Ellison spit. That's actually great damage for 2 hits so far, PSIM.
Yeah, that was a really nice hit, and sort of threading the needle with that spit there, managing to get a lot of damage out of it.
Yeah, that is impressive so far for what they were given. They haven't had a charger yet even, and at this point, if you're NCI, you have got to stop taking just the chip damage like that. Like, they have to go far, they have to take this event. They're probably actually, I don't know, it's going to depend on where the tank spawns as well, but as this happens, we have another hit coming in. Smoker getting a pull, then does get cleared. That is a quicker clear. Nice boom, though, going out, and a little bit more damage going out onto Rochelle right there. So, I don't know, Sam, is the tank going to spawn before or after they trigger the event?
That's a good question. I think this is actually afterwards. It's over 50%. But we'll have to see. It looks like they are rushing to get the button right now.
Everybody in the entire server who I think is slamming tank and current right now because it's that close. And we know this game can be trolly at times, but I think you're right. They're going to be able to get the event, but this also means that they can't push the event because they'd be pushing into the tank. We are going to have a hit coming out right here from the Fat Kid, Smoker, Jockey, Hunter, and a Boomer. Nice pull going out onto Coach, who does get an M2 at that. That's going to take him around the corner. Hunter managed to land the intercept. Now the Jockey's going to take the Smoke Survivor. This is exactly what Team Fat Kids won. That's going to be a full in-cap almost out onto Coach. That was a great hit playing off that separation.
Yeah, definitely so. Great pull, great choice by the Jockey to pick up Coach and take him around the corner. And now we have a bleeding survivor during this event, which is not what you want to see on this. This is an incredibly long event to have to sit through, especially when you know you can't push forward because of that tank spawn immediately afterwards.
Right, I mean, they are going to see another SI hit here, but this is quite a survivor-oriented spot that they're sitting in, which is why most teams choose to take it here. Smoker going to get pulled in the back, but the tongue actually gets cut by Mercy Kill. Boomer's going to go in and get popped. Charger completely shut down. Spit's going to miss, and then that Smoker is also going to get killed. So, Sim, what do you do as SI to try to get damage in an area that is so survivor-oriented like this is?
Honestly, I would totally try to multiply up on your cappers, meaning send multiple cappers after one person. And at this point, Rochelle and Ellis are just both about 10 HP away from popping pills and having to bleed out with the rest of their team. So if they can just get even a little damage onto one of those players, it can be a big boon for them.
I think you're right here, and we are going to see them, I think, trying to do that. That Smoker got a despawn, and there you go, going for Ellis in that case. Charger gets a beautiful double charge halfway across the map right there, and just as you mentioned, PSIM, that is what they did. They got the damage onto Ellis to make him slow, plus the residual chip.
Yeah, nice work. They almost got a little bit of damage onto Rochelle as well, but they managed to block that Jockey from taking her.
Yeah, that charge in that open area was exactly what they needed because that got the survivors separated, and it also did the obvious damage of the charge combination with the distance there. It looks as though NCI are wanting to push this, and I don't know about the Sim. They're getting pretty close to that tank spawn.
Yeah, they are. They're giving away some pretty good spawns here. This isn't a great position to be in. Pull does get shut down, and the Hunter going to get M2'd around as well. So they managed to get a partial shutdown, finishing up the Hunter, and now there's just a Jockey in the back. Actually pretty well taken by the survivors here, though. That SI was pretty scattered. Kind of rushed the hit. And now a Bile Bomb being deployed in the back while the survivors move forward. I kind of wonder what's going on here.
Well, I think from their situation, their health is at the place where they really can't, hold it out much longer, but that double boom is going to be deadly. Tank is up in the hands of Sense for the Fat Kids right here. Charger's going to go in there, managing to miss. We are going to see the Rock missing as well. Survivors now, obviously because they deployed that Bile, they have spawned more Horde, plus this double boom. Rock is going to miss. Hunter and Charger both landing onto Ellis in the back, but this is pretty precarious if you're the survivors right here, because they're still Horded, still getting hit by Horde and SI, and only one survivor is pushing the tank right now, Sim.
Yeah, but he's doing a good job of keeping the pressure off the rest of the survivors. This is actually starting to look a bit better for the survivors. That Horde will still keep coming in. Yeah, so the advantage is really in the infected hands. But if they can keep things tight, they might be able to make some good distance, maybe even kill the tank here. If they shut down some hits well, but a single boom going in onto Ellis. Getting a Jock onto him as well. Survivors scattering to get these clears and work on the tank at the same time. That Jockey is still going on. And Tank is down to 2,700 health, but he's going to get the in-cap onto Coach. Ellis is down as well. It's just 2 survivors left against the tank with a handful of SI following right behind him.
Oh boy, well Nick was hoarded there for a second, but now the tank is going to get a rock onto him. That should be the next in-cap coming out. Indeed it is. Last survivor up is Rochelle. So, I don't know. The tank's going to get the wipe right there. Boomer does get a stumble. Tank has the corner and the lockup, so that's going to be the wipe from the Fat Kids going out on Team NCI. What could the survivors have done differently there, Sim? Because they were bleeding out quite a bit before they pushed that choke.
Honestly, I feel like I agree that it was the right decision to sort of start to push with that much health, but if they had just been able to pop 1 or 2 of those boomers, instead of they took 3 booms during that tank fight, and you know, if they just had 1 less of those, they would have had so much less horde to deal with, probably would have ended up eating less caps, and you know, might have been able to make some more distance off of it.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how Team Fat Kids now takes the event and takes the hits before the event, because really, the damage that we saw go onto them was a product of the first hit and the second hit, and then after that, yeah, they got a little bit separated when they triggered the event, and they had the residual common chip, plus the double charge that they ate, but like, in those areas where it's going to be more enclosed and more of a risk for like boomers or some stumbles or some chip damage like that, if they can shut down these first 2 hits and get to that open area, I think they're in a good position to take control of that, but again, as we've mentioned the entire time, Swamp Fever is an endurance campaign in that sense, and that tank, they're going to have to push it forward eventually.
Yeah, they probably will have to. And, you know, the tank spawns while the survivors are in that water area. I don't know, we might see them, if they manage to get through the event okay on this half, we could see the survivors pull back and decide to fight the tank in the same area you fight the event, which would not be a terrible decision, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends if it spawns. Did it spawn on the wing there?
It did. It spawned on the wing, about halfway through the wing.
Right, so then if they have the health, they can hold out the entire horde, and then they have to just make sure that if they were going to try to make that play, instead of pushing it forward, then they have to not take a hit when they go onto the wing, or when they're going back, because if they do, that's going to result in some bad situations for Team Fat Kids. But as soon as Ghost Smoke more raise up for NCI, we'll be able to see a bad juju, if you want to call it that. We'll be able to see exactly how they take it. It's been a quite entertaining match so far, and like I said, I feel like this one's gonna go. Like I said, Swamp Fever finale. I've mentioned it before. I don't know exactly if that's a great map for making the comeback, so I think Team Fat Kids needs to focus down and try to make up their score delta here by making that safe room with bonus, because it is definitely doable.
Yeah, it definitely is. We'll have to see if these opening hits get matched in damage. Fat Kids made some really good damage on even just their first 2 hits against NCI, so they're going to be looking to return some of that damage back right here as the round goes live. Looks like very similar SI positioning. They've got the Boomer up on the right, Smoker up on the left. And Coach is sneaking out along with Nick right here. Boomer misses the spawn. This pole is going to go out and get cleared super quickly. Hunter getting skeeted by Fatbox right there. And the Spit's going to get shut down as well. That is pretty much the hit. Boomer did not end up finding a place to get that boom. So a bunch of donuts on the board for NCI.
Yeah, and so far that's exactly what Team Fat Kids wants. They need to, you know, if this Boomer lands here, it's going to slow them down. So if they can shut that down, they would make it perfect. But they need to try to push out of this area. Like, this area is not good for survivors. There's so many trees around everywhere. There is so much potential for a charger to pop out. But actually, they're going to get another 2-2 on the infected side of things. It's going to be a jockey, Boomer, Spitter, and a Smoker. Survivors are kind of separated right now. It looks as though Ellis is hauling his ass out of there because he knows the hit is almost up. Nice shutdown on that jockey. Now the pull is going to go onto Ellis, but they're going to clear it right away. And now the Boomer is going to spawn, gets a single boom, and a little bit of spit damage. But besides that, a much better handling of those first 2 hits so far.
Yeah, definitely so. It looks like the SI team having a little trouble figuring out what spawns to take for these attacks. I thought that Smoker hesitated quite a bit, and of course that Boomer missed on the first attack. But they do have some damage out on the board now.
That's the thing with Swamp Fever, like trying to get those spawns fast in that situation, if you aren't familiar with the map, is going to be difficult. I'll be honest, I've played in the competitive community for like close to 3 years now, and I'm not exactly, I know how to like play Swamp Fever in theory, but I'm not exactly comfortable with it yet because typically, yeah, I mean, it hasn't been using as much rotation lately, but we do have a hit coming here. Nice tri-cap landing for a split second from NCI onto Team Fat Kids, but at the same point in time, quick clears going out. That's the kind of damage that they want. And when, I mean, obviously, Peter, you've been around to see it when it was played more, but when did Swamp Fever start going out of rotation in the competitive community?
I don't know, it's kind of always been in the tournaments, but a lot of people didn't like it just because, you know, it was all this waiting. It's like a 4-map campaign that takes almost 2 hours to complete sometimes. Oh, and the survivors are taking it to a different location, gonna go to this open water area where the SI cannot spawn behind them. This is a pretty interesting play.
I haven't seen this in a while, and I think it might pay off them if they find a way to shut down, like, the charter caps or whatever. Charter is going to miss as I say that. Spit's going to go down with a cap onto Rochelle in the corner over there, and then that's going to be a lot of damage as well, going out onto box. I kind of like it, though, due to the fact that they're forcing all the SI to come from one direction, and this is a spot where you can see the survivors holding it out, similar to how they can after the plane. But I don't know, this is... The downfall of this, I feel like there's some water slowdown that the survivors are going to be very careful of.
Yeah, definitely, and you also have to be careful because you can try to shoot those SI from a long ways away, and it's not going to get quite as much damage. You might have to wait for them to get a bit closer to shut them down so much. That Charger managed to get all the way in and go for some punches on that last hit. Next hit coming in, Pull does land. Hunter gets skeeted though, and a Jockey makes that a 2-cap over there on the side. I don't know, this position is not working out so well for the survivors right now.
Yeah, the first part of that hit went really well for the survivors, and the second went really, really well for the Special Infected, due to the fact that the Boomer got popped, Hunter got skeeted, but then the separation pinners and the Smoker and the Jockey were able to land, and that is the problem. Yeah, if they use Deagles or if they have longer range weapons in that sense, they have 2 shotguns and 2 Uzis, so the Uzis are the ones that are going to need to do that work to prevent those clears. And yeah, okay, cutting down the foliage is XY suggesting that's obviously not a cornerstone in competitive Left 4 Dead 2 is changing the map. But besides that, it's going to be a Charger, a Boomer, a Spitter, and a Hunter coming in right here. Charger going in, almost landing. Hunter making his way in as well, managing to land. Ellis is also going to eat some spit damage there. And I would have to tend to agree with you, Sim. This area is not going very well for them so far.
Yeah, it seemed like, you know, maybe they practiced this a few times and it went pretty well, but with these match level SI, man, this is not the level of chip they want to be seeing. They were at, 80 plus on all of their survivors before this practically.
One saving grace is that they're all going to be fast, though, when they push through. Like, that's the one thing that's helped them so far. But if they eat another hit here, then they might be in an even worse position.
And here comes that next hit. Hunter looking to go in right now. Charger, Smoker waiting on their spawns. Hunter looking for DP, actually manages to land, getting a nice stumble onto 3 of the survivors while he does it. And a double charge lands, almost gets cleared, but finishes the charge onto Fatbox in the front. Boomer getting some nice stumbles and scratches as well.
Yeah, that would have been disastrous had there been a Spitter to capitalize on that double charge. But since the rest of the hit was either already landed and cleared or shut down, they were able to get out of that almost without a whole lot of incident. But I think the advantage that they've got right now, the distinct advantage I should say, is that the Horde is completely over. They still have a Bile Bomb, and they're going to have to push this tank. Like, there's no... I don't think they can bring it back at this point because of the way that their health is sitting, but they're going to be able to push the tank without a whole lot of incident. It's going to be a Jockey, a Hunter, a Smoker, and a Spitter, so some more separation potential on this hit. Speaking of which, we're going to have that Hunter going in and managing to miss. We're going to see the Smoker going in, getting a separation pull on the same survivor who was jockeyed, and the tank is up for Team NCI into the hands of Go Smoke More. What do the survivors have to do here, Sim? Just push all the way forward?
I think they can start to play this as a more normal tank, but they do need to push up, clear commons aggressively, and start to get good positioning against this tank. You need to really watch those SI timings, because a little separation can go a long way in this area. And Smoker's already looking for a new pull towards the tank. Charge coming in from the back, gonna stumble himself onto the walls right there, gonna get a rock onto the pulled target for no damage. And now Survivor's probably gonna think about running as that 2-boom comes in.
Oh, they should. In the situation now, they got that 2-boom. If they can distribute pills and then push forward, they're going to win this chapter because the tank... I think we saw this happen last map. That is going to be a nice rock going out into Princess right there. They need to make a decision. I think they need to cut and run at this point. They just need to go forward, and I think that's what they're going to do. But again, last map as well, we saw Team NCI's tank get pushed extremely hard in a situation like this. And obviously you don't like to see Survivor teams run, but with the way their health is right now, and because this is the grand finals, like... it comes to a point now where they are going to have to make the decision to cut their losses and go. And at this point, they have found more pills, I believe. Charter going out on Coach in the front, getting leveled by Trice, and they are going to be able to mitigate that score delta, kind of, as we talked about. Obviously not in the most coordinated or, ideal way possible from a viewership standpoint, but they're going to make up an okay chunk of points here.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. Ellis looking for the jump, manages to get past the tank a little bit, but he's going to get hoarded up. And this should pretty much be the wipe at this point. They do make up a few hundred points from this deficit. Actually, just about 100 points.
Yeah, but hey, it's now within 200 points for them. I mean, They made up, what was that, 69-ish points? Yeah, that looks about right. So of course it's 69 points, but besides that, they managed to get, like, that tank again. One thing that we saw, like I said, that was repeated was the tank letting the survivors get in front of them, and the tank kind of broke flow in that sense. And now it really, really, really depends on what this tank spawn is here, because when you're behind by 200 points, the part that you need to, like, worry about is that this is like a late tank for the team that's behind. That's not going to get you as much of a potential comeback as it would if the tank were early. And thankfully for them, the tank's at 38%, so it's going to be a rock tank in that open field area, but that's better than having it at 78% spawning at the event or whatever.
Yeah, definitely so. This can definitely be an interesting map for tank fights, though. I have to say, 38%, I wonder how far through that next area they're going to be, because it could put them into a precarious position where they're having to choose to either run forward or run backwards to really fight the tank in a safe place, or they could end up fighting it on that bridge out there in the open.
Yeah, and it looks as though ping might be... Well, okay, he's correct. It's still 194, but that's better than 310. That I can agree. That's better than 310. Now it's 200. So they said finale. So okay, we are playing finale. That'd be interesting if it were a 3 map campaign in the sense, you know, not playing finale, but finale on this. As I said, I haven't really seen it be that much of a game changer, but again, I could be wrong depending on how it goes. And they must have finally cleared out the crocodiles. Yeah, because Princess is connecting from Florida, and his ping has been red like this entire game. And I mean, the thing is, we still have his tank to see as well, Sim, so we could see some of those long arms at work.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. But the round is going live. NCI taking Survivor first. Once again, we'll see what these opening hits look like from Fat Boxes. Or Fat Kids.
Fat Boxes?
Fat
the entire
boxes.
Team? Yeah.
Because so many of the characters in their name render as boxes, so...
Oh, okay. I like it. We have a jockey, a hunter, a charter, and a spitter, so some great damage potential here. Seeing exactly where the SI want to come from, the jockey's on the roof, the hunter's on the side behind that, and this is one of those areas where it's hard for survivors to mitigate that damage from a hit like this due to the fact it's so enclosed and they have a lot of spawn points to deal with. Jockey's going to spawn on the roof right there. Hunter wants to come from the safe room. Charter's leading in, unfortunately, not going to land much of anything. Jockey is going to land. Hunter is still bouncing around, going to get M2'd and shut down, and I think that was a situation where the SI might have screwed up the order by which they attacked.
Maybe so, but you know, if that hunter had managed to land in the back, that would have been a really good amount of damage with the spit anyway. And Charger might be considered, you know, harder to land in that area, so opening with them to soak up some damage doesn't seem like a terrible idea.
Let's see, because I think the tank's going to spawn up in maybe after half another hit. I mean, it's going to be a Charger jockey. Actually, it's going to be right there. Smoker is going to spawn up on the side right here, getting a pull on the coach, and the tank is up in the hands of Trice for the Fat Kids. Charger going in, almost landing a step charge, single boom going out, and the jockey's actually going to get a land onto the boom survivor for some okay chip damage, but this is a situation where the survivors have decided to go back or forward, and I think they're going to decide to go back here, Sim.
Interesting. You know, I would almost say the survivors should play it up on the bridge. This is looking like a pretty precarious retreat. There's going to be spawns up as they're going through that house at the current rate they're moving. Ellis looking to get caught out, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Rock goes high. That Charger is still pretty out of position to be able to hit anywhere here. Pull, looking for it on Ellis. Gonna get cut off by the tree. And now we've got two out of position SI along with this tank.
Did he hit his car out? Oh, that's real close. That is...
That is really out. I think he can technically go and get it there if he wants, but he is on second pass right now. Survivors opting to go into the house onto the side. Good way to avoid some of these cars, and a rock misses again right on top of that pole.
Oh boy, well, his support's down except for that smoker and that hunter. I mean, and the smoker's not good for a room like that. Tank is going to have to decide to go in. I think he's going to go in right here, getting the separation onto Nick, and the tank is lagging, if I'm not mistaken there, a little bit. We're going to have that car going in, spinning onto a tree. Tank's going to try to actually get the car, and it manages to land on a Rochelle in the corner over there. Tank is going to pound her to death. I believe that is going to be a kill if the tank doesn't hit the car back away. We do have a single boom going out as well. Car spinning around the tree right here. Boomer's going to get a proxy boom onto Rochelle. Tank's got to be careful here. Getting another punch, or not punch, but a rock onto Coach, and the tank is warping as the car is stuck in two barrels here, and it looks as though they're going to be able to get that pickup almost, but the pole's going to go out. That's going to be a death from this tank. Tank throwing a rock around the tree, not managing to land. That car is in the weirdest position I think I've ever seen. He's going to turn back around, managing to get another punch out onto Ellis, and it looks as though now the car unsticks itself, and then that hits onto another survivor. This tank doing all kinds of work here, Sim. This could be a wipe.
Yeah, this is absolute chaos. The tank is down to only 300 HP though, but it looks like he's going to get that next kill.
This should be a wipe, as a matter of fact, because I think the Hunter's going to get the kill onto Nick. Ellis is dead, and one survivor's left up. And this is where it comes into question here, as this tank works his way out, almost getting the last punch on that car. Charger gets it, and what a beautiful wipe in the grand finals by the Fat Kids. Now, was that helped a little bit, do you think, Sim, by the fact that survivors decided to go back instead of forward?
I think it was definitely a little bit, but it mostly came down to that one first car landing onto Rochelle that cuts off their firepower. And man, that was so close to being a miss as well. But that just goes to show what fighting a tank in that area can come down to.
Right, and I mean, and when it gets into that situation where you have that random element, I don't want to say random, it's like a controlled chaos random element of the hittable that goes in, because hittables can be extremely unpredictable, as you just mentioned. I would much rather take it forward in that area, and I think because the score is as close as it is, obviously we're playing finale, we are going to see, if I can predict, the Fat Kids probably either fight at the bridge like you talked about or take it forward, because I don't know about you, but I kind of like playing as the survivors when you have the ability to LOS the tank and force them into a rock instead of a high wipe rate commit like that.
Yeah, probably so. Like I've said, I've liked the positioning from Fat Kids on this match so far a little bit more than I've liked NCI's survivor positioning, so I'm imagining we'll see them play it on that bridge, or maybe even push forward a little bit. What? You don't like my favorite?
No. His ping's down. Look at it.
Oh my gosh. It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. Right at the time that they need to make the comeback, his ping has gone down to 103. That is very playable. I mean, that's really cool for that. I mean, obviously he would have probably liked to have it low for the first 2 chapters of the game, but now I think they can just maybe clutch it at this point. Yeah, the ping clutch, as you would say. So first it's going to be a Hunter Spitter Jockey Charger here.
Yep, Hunter getting ready. Jockey's a little bit far to the front. As I gonna keep getting baited by these survivors, that's what they're going to do. Teleporting tries, I have to agree, he's been a bit goofy. Maybe he traded some of his ping with the princesses. It's evening out a little bit.
That's what I thought it was, honestly, because it's like, yeah, trade his ping for his soul. I mean, he got the tank wipe at the same point in time. Charger going in, managing to actually get Charlie Brown by that Hunter. We are going to have the Charger getting a couple of punches now with that pounce spit. Now the jockey is going to land in the back. Good clears, but also a couple nice lands there from that opening hit.
Yeah, pretty good. It looked like the SI said, that guy's glitching around, he must be laggy, let's go after him. And they sent 2 cappers onto LB Trice in the corner. Not quite getting a huge amount of damage, but still great chip from the opening hit.
I think they need to take it slow here because they know that tank's about to spawn. If they want any chance of going forward, that'd be better to do with either a hit half down or shut down, depending on how it goes. It's going to be a Smoker, Hunter, a Charger, and a Spitter, so a lot of high damage potential in this area. This is another one of those situations where the Infected have a lot of trees and a lot of things to spawn behind that the survivors have to pay attention to, plus these Mudmen, and they're going all the way to the back here, Sim. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to keep it safe while they push forward and clear out commons right now. Just sort of taking one area at a time, not trying to expose themselves to spawns on too many sides, which I do like to see. They are a little separated right now. If they had that pull up in the front, this could be a good hit onto LB Trice.
He's moved away, though. He's actually managed to get himself back together before the SI do anything. Spitter actually pre-spawning, and I'm guessing he's going to be the tank, do you think? He might be the tank. Because I don't think he's had a tank so far. Now they're saying, please go.
Wow, that's so rude.
Okay then, and the tank ends up in the hands of Striking Serenity. Sivo here, and he actually might decide to... I thought he was going to commit, but he's not. Charger's going to go there. Imagine you land a nice charge. That's going to be a 2-cap. That's going to be a tri-cap from Team NCI. However, it is going to get cleared by the Fat Kids. That charge is being protected by the tank right here. Rock landing, and the tank's going to get an in-cap on the box. Then he's going to have to get his way out of there because they could push him extremely hard. And they are going to, as a matter of fact. 3 Uzis versus the tank. This could be extremely precarious for Team NCI. They need to get that pickup though on the actually he's gonna decide to go back in instead. They are common locked. He's gonna get a multi-punch as a matter of fact. He's gonna get another punch on a Nick, but right here he's up a shit creep without a paddle right here because they have all these on him, and that's gonna be a dead tank sim. They took the damage, but they did not get wiped.
Wow, yeah, that started off looking really bad for the Fat Kid. This Boom and Hunter are coming in here, so we are gonna see damage keep trickling onto these survivors. But wow, yeah, nice way to make the best of a bad situation by Fat Kids. That tank, I have to question his decision to double back and go in on the survivors again. He went down very quickly after that point. They do have a lot of damage on the survivors, so if they can pull out the wipe, it's not going to be that big of a score difference. But it looks like Fat Kids have a lot of potential to take the lead on this map now.
I think they do. I mean, and obviously the more distance they get here, this is a pretty high distance map because all the maps are endurance, so if they can keep going forward, then they actually might be able to pull off the comeback here, and then they have to hold it on finale. It's going to be so close going into finale. Less than 100 points either way. They are going to find sets of pills here, and they actually have 4 sets now before they commit Sim. That's actually great for them.
Yeah, that's really good. Suddenly their luck has changed. There are definitely a lot of pill spawns on this map to be found. And if they pull themselves up, oh, smoke coming in right here. Charge gonna miss onto Nick as well. That's 2SI juked. And it looks like the rest of the hit was a 2-2. Boomer coming in last to get this boom onto Ellis. Witch being pulled should be able to be taken pretty easily, but the pull goes in.
What a crown!
Nice crown!
That was beautiful. We do have a survivor separate, and the charger actually hits the wall. That would have been a separation charger under the bonus, but it hit the wall, Sim. Their luck is just going completely reversed.
Yeah, nice moves by Fat Kids on Survivor once again. A very clutch crown, and it looks like they're going to be ready to start event before this next hit gets ready.
And that is going to be giving Team Fat Kids the lead going into the finale right here. And I mean, if they make the safe room with this bonus, they will have successfully pulled off the comeback so far. Because like I said, I would not hinge my bets on Swamp Fever finale. I just would not do it. We're going to have it coming in here from NCI. Smoker going out in the back, getting a pull to Ellis, immediately cleared. Hunter going in, getting a land outside of the spit. Jockey's going to land on a Trice as well, but he's going to get cleared before he goes into the spit. And yeah, like I said, complete reversal of fortune from the Fat Kids here.
Yeah, definitely slow. Better positioning on that tank fight. Just gave them a huge leg up on Swamp Fever 3 here.
Right, I mean, this event is annoying due to the fact that if they try to go forward here, it's going to glitch out the bridge, but I think they've realized that. They still have 2 sets of pills. They have 1 bonus holding Survivor left, and the spit's actually going to spawn up right here. Going to get a spit into the side, but they're just going to be able to back up. Smoker going out in the back, Charter going in, getting a chest bump there, unfortunately, and he is going to get cleared by the melee weapons. That should give the Survivors the event, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it looks like they may still end up with some people slow. They've only got 2 sets of pills to pass out between essentially 3 slow survivors. A lot of damage coming on these hits, but no in caps yet, which means the survivors' pace shouldn't be harmed all that much, though they are taking a lot of time. They now do have 2 players with kind of high ping, a little bit of lag they're having to deal with. Yeah, next hit getting ready to come in. Boom, looking for it. Triple boom in the back. Jockey shut down. Hunter still flying around with that spitter, and they do manage to land a cap onto LB Trice down onto the low ground.
Okay, so he actually fell out of spit when that happened. Yeah, he got skied. That's what that was. But he actually fell out of the spit, fortunately for him. And that's going to give the Fat Kids right now, before they finish this event, a just over 100-point lead, as a matter of fact. But at the same point in time, that explosion was pretty cool. But it looks as though, as you were saying, the lag has been hitting Trice and Princess at the same time. But they've managed to work their way out of there, checking every possible area, and I think Ellis is lagging too, if I'm not mistaken. Smoker and Charger both going for it in the back right here. Smoker missing the pull. Charger's going to be forced to reposition here. They are hoarded, though. Charger's going to be able to go in there with a jockey getting scratched. That's a wipe, as a matter of fact. Tri-Cap going out. The Smoker got the separation pull, and that is pretty big for Team NCI. They did fall behind, but it's only going to be by about 140 points going in here. That could have been a lot worse had Team Fat Kids made the safe room. Good recovery.
Yeah, definitely good to get that wipe in right there. Team Fat Kids were holding about a 200 health bonus, which would, 200 points is a lot when you've only got 1 map left in the campaign.
Exactly, and in that map being the Swamp Fever finale here, it really, I think with the way the game has gone so far, I think it's really going to come down to that first tank, depending on where it is, who has it, how the survivors play it, etc. And honestly, there are 2 places for it to spawn. There's one that happens near the safe room and the other one that happens near the outside of the plantation, and it's going to be the one outside the safe room. I think that's better from an SI side of things, due to the fact that the one that's outside the plantation is just a complete, I don't know, it's really bad for SI.
Yeah, it can be a lot. You can get pushed up there, and it's a lot more of an open area up ahead. It's strange. The forward area by the plantation used to be the more difficult area to play as Survivor. You'd want to go back to the safe room, but now there's so many more props and bushes back here that by the safe room is a pretty deadly area. And yeah, tanks and SI definitely prefer to play it in this starting area.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of I don't want to call it is somewhat of an exploit where you can jump the hedge. And I haven't seen that in a while, but I don't think the teams are going to do it here, because they've been informed that jumping the hedge is a exploit that takes them off the path of the map. So hopefully we don't see that, but this is going to be the last map of the grand finals. of the MavWar tournament, and we're gonna see for the first time, I believe, Team Fat Kids on the Survivor first, Team NCI on the Special Infected, Fat Kids working their way out of the safe room, and ProdigySim, this Hunter is making a lot of noise.
Yeah, he certainly is. Maybe he found a rabbit or something he's going after. Survivors are coming out towards him, though. Not going to be able to find him. Ella's going to get pulled right here. Hunter going to try for the intercept. Smoke gets cleared nicely, and Charge is going to whip right past there, although punches abound going on to Nick.
Yeah, a couple of punches going down right there. That could have been a lot worse on an opening hit like that, though, in that area. Survivors have made the right position, pushing in one direction, forcing the Infected's hand there to spawn maybe before they were quite ready. But this is going to be potentially the last tank of the game for Team NCI, up in the hands of Bear. And the reason I say potentially the last is because the best way, I think, for NCI to make this comeback would be to get a wipe right here. What do you think the SI need to do in order to do that, Sim?
Honestly, you either need to look for the 2-boom or get some great separation tray cap going on right here. This isn't the kind of tank fight that you really want to take out super long and go full rock if you're looking for a wipe. And the boom attempt over the hedge right there, gonna miss. SI gonna go in. Hunter getting taken down, but a nice double charge, gonna net 10 damage for the infected team.
That's about it, though. I mean, the tank also put himself in a position here where he can be pushed, and he's gonna take about 500 chip-ish as he gets out of there. And it looks as though, as you said, like, the best way to get the wipe potential would be to commit there with, like, a multi-boom or some separation, but this area is extremely survivor-oriented in that sense. And I think the tank needs to get its hittable, but he hasn't gone for his hittable.
Yeah, I don't know. Hittable's still pretty risky in this area just because there's so many obstacles. Looks like they're going to go for another rock hit, though. Charger is shut down, and that Hunter's getting shut down in the back. Rock going to get skeeted there. Tank is taking over 1,200 chip. He's actually taking 2,000 chip right now.
Yeah, he's also running in the wrong spot right here. He's going to actually try to work his way behind this head, but the Survivors are in a great position right now. Tank's going to roll his way in. It looks like trying to get a punch over the fence. He is completely in the wrong spot at the moment because he is maybe not even going to get a hit here. He misses that rock. Jockey going in, trying to help him. The SI are in a bad spot. And unfortunately, if you were going to try to play rock here, as we mentioned, that might not be the best way in order to get the wipe, but you have to stay on top of those roofs. Tank down to a paltry 1,060 HP at this point. And I think he's actually going to AI it here, Sim. He's in a very bad spot.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. Maybe they can get him a rock right here. They have about one SI hit more before it goes AI, but it looks like they are going to force AI it and just go for the hit.
Yeah, and that's extremely unfortunate because obviously Team Fat Kids has taken no damage, and that is a dead tank right there. In a couple of seconds, looks like 100 health AI tank now does get taken out. We do have a Hunter landing with a double boom, but obviously a moot point at this point. Charter getting a charge on his 3 survivors instead of just getting one. He managed to get the triple, but hey, I think the Fat Kids are going to be okay with wiping their faces after that because even though they ate that tri-charge, they killed that tank and took no damage from the tank itself.
Yeah, that's very good. I have to say I feel for that tank. This can be a really frustrating tank to have to play if you can't seem to get any rocks or land caps there. It's probably one of my least favorite ones to play, whether you've got the log or not. Though I have to say the tank kind of looked like maybe he hadn't played this on Confogle so much because he wasn't using that rooftop, which is, you know, when you get out of that area, you want to go throw rocks from the roof. But next hit is coming in. Pull coming into the front. Boom's going to land on 2 and a jock onto Rochelle in the back. So NCI moving back to their standard 4 SI hits, actually doing fair amounts of chip once again.
Right, and this is by no means over because at the same point in time, the same shutdown of the tank we saw the Fat Kids do just a couple seconds ago can be replicated by NCI on their Survivor side, but at the same point in time, you know, NCI needs to use the map to their advantage now because even though the first tank usually goes like that, the reason I said that the Swamp Fever finale isn't a very good comeback map is due to the fact that the rest of these hits can be absolutely brutal, especially in areas like this where there's some high separation potential, and it looks as though that's exactly what NCI are going to go for. Smoker's going to go out here, Charger's going to go in, managing to get a punch, and then also we're going to see the Jockey going out in the back, getting some good chip damage onto Coach, and like we said, even though the tank was a no-hitter, Sim, look at their health right now. 1 set of pills committed and 2 survivors on the brink of being slow.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of pills available on the finale, but if they start bleeding, it's pretty much, you know, it's the SI's game once they've got the survivors running through their pills like that. Witch pull coming in here. Ella's going to get the draw crown. No problem with that. No SI contest there.
We can climb this scaffolding.
And it looks like as getting ready for this next choke point, maybe a little bit slow. Smoker, Jockey pre-spawning in that room. They want to hit on this ladder area, and they've got health bonus up top they could be going for.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be coming from the same direction here, and are going to get kited inside the room, but the Jockey does find a way to land. Charger gets the intercept as well. That's going to be a beautiful 2-cap, and that is bonus up top. Spit's going to spit down on top of the thing there, not managing to get a whole lot of damage, but that was a great capitalization on the positioning of the survivors by the Special Infected. That knocked Trice's bonus down by like 40 points.
Yeah, nice move by the Jockey and Charger there. I really like that. Too bad the Spit wasn't able to make that into any more damaging than it already was. Survivors choosing not to take their pills even though they're slow, just trying to save their, their pills, save their temp HP for when they're actually gonna need to move.
And I think they're a little bit split. Charger almost got the separation onto Ellis right there. Boomer gets a single. We are going to see the Hunter trying to land as well, down to about red health, not imagining to land. Good shutdown right there from Fat Kids. But I got a little bit worried for them due to the fact they were a little bit separated. If that Charger had landed, that would have been a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely could have been. And we have seen pills be popped by LB Trice as we start the event right here. Survivors probably going to go inside to wait out this event. Thinking about taking it outside, it kind of looks like, but I imagine they're just going to go in and do staircase. I've seen a lot of teams try to take the entire event outside now, which doesn't seem like a terrible idea. Pull coming out, though. A lot of separation right here. Double boom. They're sending these Chargers in to just get punches, and it's doing work onto Coach right now.
Really good
Pull
idea.
Gets a second land onto Nick, and there's a cap by the Charger onto Rochelle.
Oh, no. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Huge amount of damage. That hesitation, that separation by the survivors there, trying to figure out their positioning for this event, just leading to tons of damage, and they are now almost completely out of permanent health. Another pull going in just to add insult to injury there onto Rochelle, actually getting a ton of damage. This might be an in-cap onto her, yep, with the 100 pound. And wow, they might even get wiped before the tank at this rate.
That's what I'm looking at too, because the Horde's still piling in. They have another set of spawns here for the SI. Jockey managing to land separation onto box as well. And that clear is not going to go out because Coach has to reload. So that's going to get the Jockey around the corner. Now it's going to get cleared, but there is still a down survivor back there. And because these booms are landing, the Horde is not going to end quite yet. That's going to be a nice troll on that as well. Charger going in, missing his charge. But we're going to see so much damage going on to the Fat Kids right here. And this is exactly what we talked about. This event being extremely precarious. Now there is going to be a tank into the hands of Go Smokemore, who I believe should just roll right in because that's going to be a death on the Rochelle Sim.
Yeah, Rochelle's down. Nice charge. Jumping in, getting the cap onto Nick. Tank just has to corner these last two survivors. Coach is down, and it's now up to Fatbox to try to get maybe a few more points. Keep that distance ticker ticking up a little bit. Although it's pretty much going to end right now. There goes the cap. And that's going to be the end of the round. Nice SI play from NCI. Really making that original miss of a tank wipe not such a big deal. Only giving them about 200 additional distance points on top of that. Exactly. But it's a tall order for them. They need to make it through two tanks on this map now.
I was gonna say that's the problem. Like what we just saw happen to the Fat Kids might be the same situation for NCI. Because first they have to shut down the first tank, they have to make it to the second tank and actually have the health to kill it, and then they actually have to kill the second tank. So it really depends on the positioning. It really depends on how much damage they can avoid taking in this map up until that point. But like I said, that's the story with the Swamp Fever finale, due to the fact that there is such a, I don't know, it goes from being survivor side and then just flips the bill completely and goes to be infected sided. But this last round of play here, this last half round of play will come down to deciding, right, exactly which team is going to take that $400. Like, this is the deciding factor right here. This survivor round, the pressure is on. The pings are all green for the first time in the entire game, which, thank you, Based, Hib, Jacob, whoever else runs this game. And at this point, I mean, it's doable for NCI, but that would be one hell of a dramatic finish.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to how they take this first tank and how they sit out that first event. They need to avoid the SI chip during the main finale event, and they need to do well on this tank. Boom, getting popped right there by Bear. Nice job. Pull going out. Charge going to go in on top of that. Actually lands onto Nick. Hunter landing as well. That's a 2-cap for 40 damage on the board already for Emo Panda Girl.
That charger got 2 slams as well. I mean, that charger was very close to being dead, but because that hunter managed to land at the same point in time, they were able to stop the survivors from clearing it. And the tank is up into the hands of that spooky, scary princess who has green ping at this point. So
wow, no high ping tank for this game, I suppose.
exactly, and it looks as though he's gonna go to play Rock at this point, throwing a rock around the corner. Smoker's trying to get a separation here. Boomer and Hunter are also in the spawn queue, and they are going to play Rock. I think this is the right call because they're going to get a nice separation pull right there. Rock going in, managing to miss. The Smoker does get cleared. Hunter gets cleared. Boomer hasn't yet gone in. I think this is the right call here, Sim, because let's be honest, the SI do not need to wipe on this tank. They just need to do damage.
Yeah, when you've got the upper hand like this, oh, Boomer going in, gonna miss in the back, but when you've got the upper hand like this, all they need to do is wipe the survivors at basically the same spot. So they're okay with playing this long. Let's tire these survivors out. Let's just get Chip, and let's make the wipe happen later in the map. That's perfectly fine. Although thus far, Tank hasn't really gotten any rocks in. It's just been a little bit of a SI chip, so survivors doing an okay job of waiting this out. Tank's actually going to go on to second pass really soon, although the survivors are now getting out to get ready for some spawns.
And he's on ground level again without a hittable, and there actually is some separation right here from the survivors, but the survivors do get themselves back together before there is any capitalization on that. These pinners are going to be kind of hard to land in this field. Like, the Hunter is going in after that charger already got shut down. Boomer spawning up, getting popped. That Hunter does manage to land. The Rock's going to go in and actually overthrows Nick, but the tank is on the ground level here, Sim, and the survivors can play him very aggressively, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to get a good amount of chip before this tank can get out again. It looks like Tank is going to try to escape. He's not able to get himself up onto the roof very quickly. That's about half of the tank's health already gone, and second pass has just turned over. SI getting ready for the next set of spawns, and NCI doing a great job going back into good positions to take the next SI hit. Pull going to go in, going to get cleared. Charger running into a head that was a little bit wider than it appeared, and Jockey bouncing around, going to get shut down as well. Tank Rock once again whiffing right there. This is looking really good for NCI. This is exactly the kind of take they need to have for this to turn out well for them.
It's looking really similar to what we saw in the last round, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, except this tank's going a little bit harder for rocks, I think. But yeah, it is pretty similar.
I mean, right now, the survivors have played it perfectly so far. They just can't they got separated. That's going to be a pull going out onto Rochelle in the back. I said they can't really get separated to avoid that chip. Lucky for Rochelle, there was a tree there to block that. Tank is on the ground. Hunter's going in, getting nicely skeeted. Charger, though, landing a single charge, and now this tank is still on second pass, 60%, 3k HP around. He's going to be working his way back, and it looks like the survivors are going to play it aggressively here. They just can't do the thing where they go too close to the tank, and the tank turns around and actually takes advantage of them. Because...
yeah, they need to be careful here. They're doing a good job forcing LOS because that tank failed to get up on the roof again. Tank is going to go AI incredibly quickly. They have to be careful with these last set of spawns with this AI tank committing in right here. But if they can handle that, they're golden. Here come the SI. Jockey Hunter coming in. Boom going to land onto one. Pounce does land. Gonna get a rock onto Rochelle from that AI tank, and that pull is still out on Coach in the back. Survivors do finally take down the tank. And wow, what an interesting tank fight that was.
That was obviously a better job by the Fat Kid Special Infected than it was for NCI, because they were able to get more chip out onto the survivors. And you know what? If I'm Fat Kids, I'm happy with the way that ended, because they got the chip damage that you see on the board, almost needing a set of pills to commit on Coach and Rochelle, and Nick's also not too far off either. And now they can just let the rest of the map and the residual difficulty be as it is. And I think this would be a situation now where they have the upper hand of just being able to play that kind of defensively, and in the way that, you know, we saw the last round go, those SI hits can do a lot of damage. Hits going to be coming in right now. Looks like that Hunter's making noise with a Spitter, Boomer, Charger. Survivors are taking it slow because they aren't bleeding. They don't really have to worry. But I don't know. This could go either way at this point.
Oh my gosh, they should really start moving forward. I think they're in a worse spot just sitting around this area, but SI are just really trying to find spawns. I think they're expecting the survivors to go in the house to look for ammo.
The baiting is real.
Yeah, this is really real. Some very high-level baits right here. But I have to say, I think that's a good idea from NCI. They need to make sure that that AI tank commit doesn't rattle them too much. You know, they took a lot of damage on that last hit, but they're still in a very good position, and they need to keep it together. They are slowly moving up. Yeah, SI way out of position. Survivors don't need to go into that house. They actually got ammo during the middle of the tank fight, so they're feeling fine.
Good play by NCI. I mean, they obviously, some people hate baiting. I'm one of those people, but that's what it can do. It forces the SI to completely reposition. Now they're in a much better spot. Boomer getting popped. Charger going in, Hunter going in first, getting skeeted. Charger manages to land, but he's outside of the spit, so that could have been a lot worse. And now that actually should give them the witch as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a high-speed, blindsided T-bone onto Ellis right there. Did not see that coming at all. But
So-
yeah, that's a good amount of damage though for such a, you know, late hit that went in there.
Yeah, they get the Witch Crown as well, so it's going to be as close as we predicted right here. They're working their way inside. This is going to be one heck of a finish, depending on what happens on these next couple hits. Jockey spots in the back, Smoker as well. Coach is up top, and he falls down the hole instead of getting killed. Spit's going to go down in the room, but the survivors have pushed their way out. That was almost disastrous. ProdigySim.
Yeah, that could have been very damaging, very disastrous for NCI, but they managed to get that drop just in time, scattering the SI a little bit, and still none of the survivors have popped their pills. They're in very good position to take this event, as long as they can find a nice safe place to take it, you know, not get cut off like we saw Fat Kids do last round.
It looks as though the SI want to hit on this SEP right here. They're allowed... Yeah, this is knife edge stuff. I completely agree with what Dragon's saying. And this Charger's going to spawn up here alone so far. Hunter from the other side as well. Charger going in. We have a single cap lane. That Charger was lagging too much to do much of anything. Charger gets shut down. Pole gets cleared. Good clears by NCI. And they need to go to the position they want to be in right now. They need to go in before another hits up.
Yeah, and Nick, I believe, is just barely above slow, or maybe he is already slow. No, he's just barely above slow right now. Looks like they are going to opt to take it indoors, but they're moving a little bit slowly on this. SI are going to have spawns before they make it to that staircase.
And they're split. They're really split. That Jockey is going to go in and try to capitalize on that, but the survivors again have pushed their way back outside. Spitter, Jockey, Boomer, and another SI coming into queue right here. That's going to be a 2-boom going out. Coach is really separated right now. I'm trying to whip my camera around to follow them as they're running around. That's a nice shit down by Rochelle. Charger going in, gets a nice double charge. That's going to be a lot of damage going out onto Ellis. That actually might be a down depending on how fast he can move out, and that is going to be an end cap.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, I think the survivors are following if we don't know where we're going, the SI can't know where we're going. School of thought right here. And it was working out okay with those shutdowns until that charge spit just flew in out of the sky and destroyed them. But now it looks like they're in a pretty defensible spot.
3 sets of pills, 2 sets of pills left on the table, and they have to kill this tank. Smoker is going to spawn right here. I have to spectate. Okay, that's going to be a pull going out. Does get cleared. Charger's going to miss. Rochelle tanking common. No pun intended. Now it's going to be a pull charge going out onto her. Clear is going to go out. They should have enough to keep all the survivors fast. And Sim, it's going to come down if they can wipe or not.
Yeah, and I mean, I honestly think this is a pretty survivor-sided tank. It's pretty hard to lane Brox here. SI don't have a lot of spawns. Tank can actually get cornered here early if it spawns in a bad spot. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
NCI can definitely do this.
Where's the spawn? Where's that tank at?
It's
He's
on the
in
outside
spot.
fence.
Oh no.
Survivors might be able to get a little bit of a surround right here, but they're going to be in kind of bad positions for
Here
SI
we go.
spawns.
Tank
A lot
looks
of
like he's
chip
going to be
going
going in. I mean, they have a spitter in the spawn queue, though. He can't do that. The Jockey's going to get a separation onto Rochelle, though. This is going to be huge. The tank is going to be trying to cover right here, throwing a curve rock and missing. The clear has gone out. The tank is in the middle with no support right now. He's going to push back in on Ellis. He's getting kited. He has to get out. He needs to get out. This is going to be complete chaos. He's throwing a rock, missing the rock, as a matter of fact. And now the tank is going to be able to get out. Wow. So he traded 1,500 chip. Actually going to be closer to a 2K chip. Throwing a rock in, whipping it at Coach. He's still in a very bad spot. He has to work his way over to the side. This ladder could also be tough, but he's managed to get to the roof. But he had to sacrifice 2,700 points. Up and gets a rock onto Rochelle instead. Sim, this could go either way right now. This could really go either way right now.
Yeah, definitely could. Pull going in onto the back. The survivors still splitting up like crazy. Pounce going in for the intercept, and Tank is in. Gonna work with that charger, getting an end cap onto Rochelle. It's all up to Ellis, NCI Bear right now. He needs to find some clears or something.
That's it. I think that's going to be it.
Gosh.
Tank's going to land a rock, and that is going to be the conclusion of the MavWar Hype Tournament by a 106-point score differential in favor of the Fat Kids coming back, and they have taken the game over Team NCI in a finish that was as chaotic as you could possibly imagine, Sim.
Yeah, it was insane. I was really thinking NCI were going to be able to bring it back on that finale, but as you can see, Fat Kids just one deadly separation hit after another, and they take the lead there. Gonna take home that $400 prize.
That was one of the oddest finishes, like, in terms of, like, I can only imagine how the nerves must have been at that point, but at the same point in time, like, that was a lot of separation that went out, and there were like chances for both teams in the end to really take that. Like I thought after the tank climbed over the wall to try to get like in the middle of the survivors, I thought they were going to punish him a lot harder and maybe even kill him because he was still in a bad spot. But then they got boomed, and the Horde was able to throw off the SI. Like it was able to throw off the survivor coordination. But then I think the fact that survivors were moving around as much also threw off the SI. Like everybody was just being thrown off at the same point in time, but the SI brought it back together and they managed to get the wipe.
Yeah, like you say, Swamp Fever and Endurance campaign, and I think we saw that it was sort of taking a toll mentally on the survivors there by the end of it. Pretty scattered, taking some hits they probably shouldn't have. You know, both teams having trouble with positioning on that finale near the end. And honestly, it can get pretty tiring near the end of a long match like that, so can definitely see how that happens. Congratulations to Fat Kids there.
I have to say congratulations to the Fat Kids. They have won the MavWar Hype Tournament in 2015. Obviously, commiserations, as Dragon said, to Team NCI. They played a great game. Both sides played a great game. That's it. I don't think we could have asked for a better grand finals in that situation because of the hypeness and also because of the propensity for either side to take it. So, on behalf of MavWar, obviously, thank you everybody who's followed this tournament. Thank you to the Al for hosting it, Zero for also helping out. Glass Sandwich, I think, is the other admin's name, and obviously, that's exactly what you want to see in a community like this. And you know what, Sim? We have had a grand finals played of a North American tournament in the year 2015. It has happened.
That's good. That's always a good one to have. And thanks so much to everybody in the community for coming to watch the match today. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game. So, yeah, on behalf here of XBI as well and Dragons in the chat, or in the channel, I should say, and everybody else who was watching, thank you so much. We will have more competitive Left 4 Dead 2-ness coming your way in just a couple hours. For anybody else interested in competitive Left 4 Dead matches, MavWar or otherwise, we will have a couple RBT3 games tonight for you to watch. WatchLeft4Dead.com. XBI is also going to be streaming one of them, I believe, at 8 p.m. Pacific time, which is 11 Eastern. So, yes, competitive Left 4 Dead tunas. That's exactly what we want. So, yes, again, thank you everybody for watching, and have a great rest of your evening. Fantastic tournament by MavWar.